Yo, what up again, YouTube? Alright, so in the last video we were doing a design of the login screen or login activity. So in this video I want to focus on the validations of the login screen itself. So like I explained in the previous video, this button I want it to be disabled while the user is trying to until I want it to be disabled until the user has filled in all the fields here, and then up until they've completed all the fields, this button won't show. So I'm gonna put this button back, like I explained in the video, back to false. So I'm gonna say what did I do again? I think it's enabled. One second. Alright, it should be enabled to false. Nope. Okay, that should be fine in terms of the size. I need to give the button, sorry, this needs to be 25 SP. I need to give the button an ID, login btn. Right. Okay, let's just take that down a bit. Alright, so in the helpers package that we created, or folder or directory, whatever you want to call it, I want to create another one. I'm going to call this validations. So both the registration and login validations are going to be in this folder. Then I'm going to create a class here. I'm going to say login helper. Alright. Okay, so now this class needs to extend a particular another class as well. So this is going to be the text watcher class. And then, oh sorry, it's a text watcher, not a class, it's an interface. So we need to implement those methods from this particular text watcher interface. So we're gonna just hover over it, and then let's see, change, sorry, needed to be implements, not extends. Okay, now let's implement its methods. Alright, so we're gonna click OK. Alright, so remember, within the login activity, the text input field has an ID, the text input layout has an ID. So this is a layout that contains the text input field, right? So that you understand. So we're gonna call these methods up here. I mean, we're gonna instantiate those these fields up here. I mean, within this login validator helper class. Alright, so let's see, private text input, edit text, right? And then we obviously have the email txt field. Then we also have the password txt field. Okay, and then what do we need? So we need the layout field, layouts, private layout, and then we're going to say email txt layout, and then we're going to also say password txt layout. Okay, then we're going to call in the button as well, private button, and then what else? I'm gonna say private string, and then we're gonna say email field, and then password field. Alright, so basically these two are just gonna be for the values, like when the user puts in John Doe, for example. This is what these two fields are for. Alright, so now we need to create a constructor within here. So I'm gonna say public, then I'm gonna say login validator. Alright, and then here we're gonna need to input all these. We need to call these basically these fields. I think the easiest thing here to do is to generate a constructor. We're gonna select everything except the two string values, and then say OK. And I'm gonna move these onto new lines so that we can see what's going on. Alright. Right, so now let's talk about these methods over here. So what's going to happen is that when the user types within the field, these are the methods that we're going to use to listen for those events basically. Now we're not going to use all of them, but unfortunately, because we are implementing this what you call it excuse me, this interface over here, unfortunately we have to implement them. But the one that we're going to use is this one, after text change, right? These two for on text and before text change. So basically before the text change you can run whatever functions you want to run here, and then same on here. On text change you can check for things and things like that, and then yeah. So but the one that we're going to use is this one. So let me just say end of Alright, so the first thing I want to do is say email field. So now the email field that we're testing, we're checking here is this one, right? This is going to equal to email text field dot get text, right, dot toString, and then I'm going to say also dot trim. I just want to remove all of the white spaces, and then the same thing for the the password field equals to password field dot get text, password text field dot get text dot toString dot trim. Alright, and then here we're gonna say email field. Did we get the layouts, by the way? I don't think we did. Oh no, we did. Right, we're gonna set the error to null initially, and then the password field layout. Right, so now what we need to do here, we're gonna place in an if block. right? So the f block is going to be email field dot is empty. So remember, we're setting the we're taking the field, this field over here, right? Whatever the user types in here, we're setting it to the email field here, or text, right? Maybe I should name it to that, email text. Would it be easier to put it that way? Right, so let's name it that, email text password text, right? So if the email text is empty, right, we is blank, why is that giving it an error? Okay, so we're gonna come to the email layout, text layout, then we're gonna set the error. So the error itself is going to be email cannot be empty. This is gonna be annoying, so let me see this. Let's check if it's null. Alright, okay, and then the next one is going to be gonna copy this. This one is going to be the password. Password cannot be empty. Alright, so here we're basically checking if the email field is empty or the password field is empty. Right, if it is empty or null, we're going to set the error to the text layout. So remember, the text layout is this one here. It's going to show an error somewhere below the email text field, or the text field itself, which is going to be either below this one or above it. And so that's what we're doing here. We are setting the layout to show the error if the text field for both email and password is empty. Then let's go to the VP to the button. So the button itself, login button dot set enabled. Right. So now how we're gonna do this is this. We're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna say email text field. We're gonna check and see. So remember this value, email text, right? Oh my goodness. Right. This is empty method here. It returns true or false. So we're basically checking to see if both the password field and email field is blank, right? Sorry, is empty. So if both of these are false, or either one of them are false, basically the button will stay disabled. Otherwise, if it's not disabled, what will then happen here is that the button will then be visible. So basically going from gray to purple like it was before. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to move into the login activity. So we have to come in here, right? And on create method. Alright, so let's go to the login activity. Alright, so here at the top here, we're gonna need to call in a couple of properties as well. So the first one is going to be shared preferences. might as well type that in: private shared preferences. Okay, and then we're gonna need to bring in that login validator. Okay, so right now let's bring in let's see, we need to bring in the text field and the input field, right? So text input layout, which is going to be, I'm just gonna rename it, give it a different name. So I'm gonna say login email txt this one will change from email to password. Text. So this one will be login Okay, so I'm pretty much aware that the names are getting longer, but I'm just trying to make sure that we don't clash. We don't have names that are clashing and stuff. I need to copy this. This one will be password. Okay, then we need to get in the button. I'm just gonna name this. Okay, this one I'll leave as it is. Alright, so now we need to get these fields over here using, we're gonna need to retrieve them using the ID. So now what we need to do is we need to come into the onCreate method here. So we're gonna say let's start with the text input layouts. So we're gonna say login. Let's start with the email layout, and then this is going to equal to find by ID, which is r.id dot email layout, txt email layout, right? Let's duplicate that. Then we need to say password, right? Then this is going to be txt password layout. Let me put a comment here. Alright, what's the next one? Login email edit text field. This one should be txt password. Okay. Alright, so now remember we created a constructor here within the validator up here. So now we need to pass in all these elements that we just created, or we also need the button as well. Login button, login btn. Okay, so how many? It's 1 2 3 4 5, right? 1 2 3 4 5. All right. Right, will equal to new login validator, and then now we need to pass in those let's do it like this: email, layout, and then email text field. Wait, is that how I did it? It's edit text, input layout, and then okay. I think the first one is the email and then the password edit text fields. I'm gonna put it on the next line so that we can see what's going on. Okay, so the next one should be the layouts and then the button. And then login btn. Right, so that should be it. Okay, and then the next thing we need to do is add the listeners. So the email dot add text, change listener, then we're going to add in the login validator there. Do the same for the password. Okay. Alright, so what do we need to do? So basically this is just gonna run the validators, and then if everything is fine, we can even leave a toast message here, but it's not gonna work. So let's just test. I'm gonna stop it here, and basically we're gonna test and see if what you call it, if it'll show the error messages or not. Okay, let me install the app, and then I'm gonna let it run. When it's done, we're gonna test and see if we did anything correctly. Alright, one moment for me please. Alright guys, I'm back. Okay, so the app is installed. Let's just check and see if anything is working as it should. So I'm gonna again click on the my application there. It's gonna launch the app splash screen, then we're gonna need to go to the login screen. Alright, so as you can see, the button is still disabled. So now let me put in an email there. I'm gonna say John Doe. Okay, let's put John Doe there. As you can see, we haven't entered the password, but at the moment the button as well, because of that, is still disabled. So if I put in the password now, I'm just gonna put in a random text. Now as you can see, the button is now visible, and then obviously when we click sign in, nothing happens. So it looks like, at least now, in terms of what we were doing here, validating to see if the fields are added, or the fields are added as they should, or the fields are filled in as they should, the button will stay disabled. So again, if I come back to the mobile app, as you can see there, if I put this down, the button is still not showing. It says the password cannot be empty. That's fine. So let's put in a random text again. If I show you there, now the button is showing. Let me remove the email. So as you can see, the email is not showing, and then as you can see, because the email is empty, we're getting the error message there where it says email cannot be empty, right? So let me say John Doe. Now John Doe is no, there's no longer an error showing. If I clear that, it says the password cannot be empty. Now by default it's gonna mark both any field there. It's gonna change the border to a red color, just as a warning, but as you can see, what we were doing here works. Alright, let me wait, did I close that too quickly? So yeah, everything works as it should. Again, if I clear that, password cannot be empty, button is disabled. If I put that in there, the button is re-enabled. If I remove the email, same thing, button is disabled. Nothing, the button won't show until we fill in the email. Alright, John, what's that? John Doe. Alright, as you can see, our validation is working. So alright, so just to explain, like I said, this method here basically is what we're using to validate our field. It's extending or implementing this text watcher here. Basically this just allows us to check for certain events. So this runs after you've typed in the email. As you saw, right after you've typed in the email, then that's only when this kicks in. What am I doing? This is when this kicks in. On text change, this one, what happens is that as you type, basically as you type, what happens is that this method runs. So as you keep on typing there, let's say JONJ, for example, this is the method that will kick in. This one runs before anything happens, before you type in anything, and so forth. Now when I was busy testing this, the one that worked best was this one, as when I tried to set up the validation using these two methods, it didn't work like I wanted to. So therefore that's why you see the error message display, even though the error message displays even before you finish typing anything. So if I put in John Doe again, it no longer displays. But if I remove the password, now only the password field, only the top field is showing a red color. Now that probably is a design flaw on my side. Let me just check here. So error enable true. I don't think, did we do it here? We did do it. Text in password, okay. Style, same thing. Yeah, well, in any case, this should be the same thing, but the error message is showing, it's only showing on the text input field at the top. But it's fine, we'll fix that later on. But at least now we can make sure that the user fills in all the required fields. We'll probably explore this a bit more when we start working on the registration field and whatnot. Alright guys, so I want to end the video here. It's already too long. So in the next video, what we're gonna do is, because we're validating here, in the next video what we're gonna be working on is authenticating the user. That means that we will have to then connect to our API, and then basically we're gonna, as you saw, we're gonna log in. If the user is authenticated, the API is gonna return the user's information and the token, and then you'll see how we're gonna basically set the preferences and store all of that information within our preferences object over here. So for this one, in terms of the validations, I think this should be fine. Again, I don't want it to be too long. It's already 30 minutes long. So again guys, thank you for sticking with me up until this point. If again you've liked what you've seen so far, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys again within the next video. Thanks again for watching, and cheers for now.